several passengers across Delhi-NCR, Bengaluru and Mumbai are unable to book cabs through ride-hailing app BluSmart from yesterday. Now, BluSmart, co-founded by Anmol Singh Jaggi, who is also the promoter of Gensol Engineering, provides electric car services in Delhi-NCR, Bengaluru and Mumbai. Well, the fact that you're not able to book cabs today and yesterday is not a glitch in the app, but seemingly a glitch in the promoters of the company. Gensol and Jaggi are facing multiple headwinds, including financial woes, and have come under market regulator SEBI's scanner. The company, as on Jan 9th, had a fleet of over 8,500 electric vehicles and a charging network of 5,800 stations across 50 hubs in the 3 metro cities. They were also supported by 10,000 plus active driver partners. But reports now suggest that this fleet and its drivers will likely serve competitor Uber under the Uber Green format. Now, BluSmart was leasing electric cars from the founder's other company, Gensol, which is now on SEBI's radar for fraud, diversion of funds and corporate governance issues. The BluSmart cabs may have been clean. Gensol may have been promoting clean energy, but its founders reek of greed. There has been nothing clean about their operations, from what has come to surface so far at least. Well, Gensol Engineering has said that the company will fully cooperate with the forensic audit to be conducted at the behest of market regulator SEBI. As directed in an interim order, SEBI will appoint a forensic auditor to thoroughly examine the books of accounts of the company and its related entities, Gensol Engineering said in an exchange filing. The company further said that complying with SEBI's directions in an interim order, Anmol Singh Jaggi and Puneet Singh Jaggi, promoters of the company, have restrained from holding the position of a director or key managerial position in Gensol until further orders. They are no longer participating in the management of the company as per SEBI's instructions effective immediately. Now, Gensol Engineering's promoters treated the listed company as a proprietary firm, diverting corporate funds to buy high-end apartments in the Camellias. Look at the numbers on your screen. 43 crore rupees paid from the company's accounts to buy a house, a high-end luxury house at DLF Camellias in Gurgaon for a whopping 43 crore rupees. Now, that's not all. There's also been a splurge in purchasing multiple other luxury items. But look at the other numbers coming in. 6.2 crore rupees transferred from the company's fund to Anmol and Puneet Singh Jaggi's mother's account. Well, it's not just the mother. There has also been transfer to the wife's account, as much as almost 3 crore rupees from the company's funds diverted to Anmol Singh Jaggi's wife's account. Let's look at the other numbers. Let's look at the investment which has been made in Ashnir Grover, another often tainted and so to speak not the most clean of startups that one has read stories about. Ashnir Grover's company has received 50 lakh rupees from Gensol. For what exactly, we really don't know at the moment. Well, this is not all. There have been other purchases. A luxury golf set purchased for as much as 26 lakh rupees. These are the kind of expenses which have been made by Gensol, and these definitely seem like personal expenses being met and the money being used as a promoter's piggy bank. Well, the founders apparently have also gone on a holiday where 3 lakh rupees have been transferred for a trip booked on Make My Trip using Gensol's money. Well, the capital market regulator SEBI on Tuesday barred Gensol Engineering and promoters Anmol Singh Jaggi and Puneet Singh Jaggi from the securities market until further orders in the fund diversion and compliance, corporate governance compliance issues. Well, further, markets watchdog directed Gensol to put on hold the stock split which it had announced earlier. Joining me on the show this morning is Mr. Sriram Subramaniam, founder and managing director of InGovern Research. Mr. Subramaniam, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this very important developing story. I want to understand basically from you what happens next. This forensic audit will be instituted, and the writing pretty much seems to be on the wall that there has been diversion of funds used for personal gains and not really for the company. So what happens from now from the forensic audit that begins?
Yeah, good morning. I think forensic audit is just like a bandage put on a huge wound, so to say. At the end of the day, the company needs to be have a change in management. I think either the board of directors, the independent directors need to step up and form a committee to run the company on a day-to-day basis. Because right now, I think total loss of trust will be there. Employees will want to leave or already be searching for jobs. Two is, I would think that even vendor partners would be trying to recover all their monies, whatever is due. And three is even IRDA and PFC would send notices to recall their debt. Already at the other end, I would think that the people who have given loan against shares are already selling the shares, and that's the reason the stock price will continue to tank. I mean, till it goes down and becomes a penny stock, I would think.
Right, it could possibly become a penny stock is the word coming from Mr. Subramaniam. Mr. Subramaniam, does it also make sense at this point to delist the company and return shareholders' money? Is that something that can be provisioned by the market regulator?
No, I don't think that is possible. There is no money out there anywhere, I would think. If anything, the lenders have a huge obligation. The company has a huge obligation to the lenders. So I would think shareholders will come much beyond, and the lenders will take precedent because they will be secured lending and the like. So recovery, if anything, will the lenders will put their foot down.
All right, so lenders are going to be served first, investors will come next. But what really happens now to Anmol Singh Jaggi and Puneet Singh Jaggi, the founders of the companies, the promoters of the companies, who are now obviously dealing with this scathing investigation that SEBI has ordered? And there seems to be no doubt that there was greed at play. This was not just a simple case of corporate misgovernance, but this was pure greed, which resulted in the kind of transfers that the company has made to personal accounts.
Yes, I mean, obviously, it is when the going is good, people want to make money, and this company and the promoters fanned social media, pledge shares, and offloaded shares by talking up their shares at very high prices. So it's total greed. It is, as the SEBI's order said, it is something to do with thinking of it as their own piggy bank, so to say. So there is no credence to what investors, I mean, serving investors or serving lenders, even whatever money they raise from lenders were thought of as their own piggy bank, I would think. So at the end of the day, trust is lost now. And so to recover from here is almost impossible, I would think.
Right, no recovery seems to be in sight. But Mr. Subramaniam, please help me understand. I mean, these are founders who've launched unicorns, who have listed their companies on markets, and apparently enough due diligence would have been done through the way of filing of the red herring prospectus. There would have been enough scrutiny on the company. Why would promoters make decisions like these? I mean, do they think they are above the law? And it's not the first time we've seen a case like this. Both listed and unlisted companies in the past have seen this level of corporate misgovernance, where they take the system for granted. They take their company to be as if it is their own piggy bank, which is what the SEBI order has said. Do they really think they can get away with frauds of this nature?
Yeah, I would think so, because at the end of the day, there is a sense of hubris. There is a sense of that we can't go wrong, we cannot be caught, kind of a feeling. I'm sure Gensol, especially in bullish markets, especially when in the new age of social media, where influencers and retail distribution, pumping and dumping of shares seems to be all the more easier. So what is happening is Gensol is not the last case, and there are many more Gensols out there which will be unearthed over months and years, because the investors' greed also plays out, the promoters' greed also plays out.
Right. Of course, I mean, there is greed at play, no doubt, but can there also be, let's say, now a criminal investigation launched against the promoters of the company? Does this qualify as a case to undergo criminal investigation and not just forensic audit on accounts of the books of the company?
I would think so. If anything, IRDA and PFC should file a criminal case, because at the end of the day, their letters have been forged, their signatures have been forged. They never issued those letters unless there was some connivance of some IRDA or PFC officials. But from the looks of it, it looks like those letters were forged, and many documents were forged. So there is a need for criminal investigations and, I would say, prosecution.
Okay, but Mr. Subramaniam, why did it have to be a letter, a complaint written to market regulator last year which led to this investigation? By virtue of being a listed company, Gensol mandatorily would have had to undergo audits every year. Why did the auditor not flag lapses like this? Why did the CFO of the company not flag these, these lapses? And what were the accounts teams of the companies doing when they were receiving orders to go ahead and make these transfers? I mean, on the face of it, these obviously don't look like business operations. These look like personal piggy bank related transactions being done by the company's accounts. So what is the role of the auditor? What is the role of the CFO in a listed company if something as serious as this is not getting countered, not getting flagged and not getting restricted?
Yeah, unfortunately, CFOs, especially who don't have their own voice, will adhere to whatever the promoters are saying. It is, as you rightly said, even auditors are doing it. If it's an unknown auditor who is dependent on the fees of Gensol for a day-to-day living, obviously that unknown auditor would have signed off on the accounts without questioning any transactions. Because I'm also blaming the independent directors. The independent directors should have stepped up as to what is the logic of these transactions. What is the logic of even these related parties? There were so many related party companies which are disclosed in the annual report, but yet people, I mean, the independent directors did not question the management on what is the reason why there is no logical explanation for having so many related party companies. And that's the reason I think it is not that it cannot be hidden. If the promoter wants to do it in a very, I would say, secretive manner, it can be hidden from independent directors. But I think here, at least, it was disclosed in annual reports and the like, and there was a case for abusive related party transactions, and that's what played out.
All right. Mr. Subramaniam, also help recap for our viewers what was the issue really with BluSmart, because to our understanding and what we read so far is that Gensol had actually purchased these electric cars on its own books. It became a balance sheet item for Gensol, and then Gensol leased these cabs to BluSmart and it became a P&L sort of income generating activity for Gensol. BluSmart, being a sister concern, got these cabs on lease at a cheaper price than what the market would have offered them, and hence BluSmart's own valuation ticked up. So, in a sense, this connivance has fooled BluSmart's investors in showing a healthier book, but it has also cheated Gensol's investments by not letting Gensol take as much revenue as it potentially could have had it given these cars to BluSmart at market price.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely. See, as you said, the transfer pricing between BluSmart and Gensol is not at market rates. Two is now that the trust is lost, even the driver partners, as you said, may not be wanting to serve the company at all, because at the end of the day, their I would say salaries and everything maybe due already, and or they fear that it may not come. So vendor partners, drivers, even cash flow for that matter, working capital issues, etc. But the banks will pull back all the ODs and everything which they have, and so all these the stakeholders, they've lost the trust of all stakeholders. So even banks which lend on a day-to-day basis on the overdraft, that itself would be closed down.
Right. And what about the arm's length distance which should be maintained between a listed entity and its other sister concerns or companies promoted by its promoters? These are cases that we've seen in the past. This is, I think, one of the most recent cases that comes to mind is what happened with 197 Communication and Paytm Payments Bank. Were there also disclosure issues? Did Gensol not inform the market regulator that there is a sister concern with the same promoter sitting on top of it and there is a cross transaction between the two companies?
To some extent, they have informed that, because in the annual reports for the last couple of years is well known, and it's well reported that there is a relationship between Gensol and BluSmart and even Matrix Gas, etc., etc. But all this tunneling of funds and layering of funds, and which the SEBI's order clearly puts out. And in fact, I would suspect that SEBI's order doesn't even cover all the transactions. I mean, there could be many more transactions, there could be many more skeletons in the cupboard. So while there is disclosure, that necessarily doesn't prevent fraud.
All right. And one final question to you, Mr. Subramaniam. How long before the report by the forensic auditor is filed? How long before we can get some sort of a closure on this case?
No, I don't think there's any closure for that matter. A forensic audit is not just the end, it is just one step. So I would think at least a couple of months, if the forensic auditor is provided access to accounts in the first place, access to all the data quickly, they can complete it within a couple of months.
All right, a couple of months for the next level of investigations perhaps to take off after the forensic audit is through. Mr. Subramaniam, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on News 9.